Thank you for coming tonight. It's a beautiful night to celebrate some beautiful people. We have other retirees, but tonight we're celebrating 5 that are here with their families and their friends. Just to take a moment to think about the thousands and tens of thousands of lives that they've touched over their careers. A spectacular group, and we love them dearly. Again, they talk about shoes. We have little shoes, and these are really big shoes to fill. But we'll do our best moving forward. But again, we congratulate them. They've given to Timberlane in so many ways. They've given to our kids. They've given to our families. They've given to our community. So just a quick round of applause for all 5 of them. I want to take this opportunity as I introduce our school board chair. Our school board has offered us tremendous support, certainly our retirees and our families and our friends. But this time I'd like to welcome our school board chair, Nancy Steenson, and she's going to offer some congratulations. Thanks, Nancy.
Good evening, everybody. It is always an honor to be asked to speak at this special event. The school board is truly grateful for the years you have devoted to the children of this district. Whether you taught our children, guided them, or nursed them, you have all given much of yourselves to our children over many years. As I thought about what I could say to put into words the gratitude that I feel for your service, a favorite book came to mind, The Velveteen Rabbit by Marjorie Williams. If you'll indulge me, I'm a huge fan of children's literature. "What is real?" asked the rabbit one day when they were lying side by side near the nursery fender before Nana came to tidy the room. "Real isn't how you are made," said the skin horse. "It's a thing that happens to you. When a child loves you for a long, long time, not just to play with, but really loves you, then you become real." "Does it happen all at once, like being wound up?" he asked, "or bit by bit?" "It doesn't happen all at once," said the skin horse. "You become. It takes a long time. That's why it doesn't often happen to people who break easily, or have sharp edges, or have to be carefully kept. Generally, by the time you are real, most of your hair has been loved off, and your eyes drop out, and you get loose in the joints, and very shabby. But these things don't matter at all, because once you are real, you can't be ugly, except to people who don't understand. And once you are real, you can't become unreal again. It lasts for always. All of you are real, for always. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Nancy. That's our school board chair, and she represents Danville. I'd also like to acknowledge our other school board representatives that are here tonight. I'd like to welcome Donna Green from Sandow. Welcome, Donna. Rick Blair and his lovely wife from Glasgow. Peter Bilo, who also represents Glasgow. And Sue Sherman, who's also from Glasgow. At this time, I'd like to welcome our Assistant Superintendent, Dr. Roxanne Wilson, and she's going to introduce the presenters who will present to our honorees. So, welcome, Dr. Wilson. See, this is how she blew it. See, I told her, if you sit close, they'll still be clapping when you're here. But see, the center. See, after a walk-up song, I said, we don't have any music. Thank you.
Before I get into the presentations, what I'd like to do is to recognize Sue Sherman, who is going to come up and speak on behalf of the New Hampshire Retired Educators Association. So we can all clap once again for Sue Sherman.
I am thrilled to be here tonight on the other side of the table. Not always every night, but tonight I am. Somebody asked me what it's like to retire. Ooh, 2 years, and I haven't quite figured it out yet. Now, I walk in this room and I see faces of people I have loved being with, worked with. My daughter had as teachers. My grandkids have as teachers. It's a real family and a real community. It's a neighborhood. I love you all. And when I say I am thrilled to welcome you into retirement with me, know that I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I represent the Timberlane Sanborn Retired Educators Association. That's a big title. It's a great group of people. Ladies, I hope you will join with me. Come to a couple of meetings. We have a lot of fun. You stay in touch. Sometimes you volunteer your heart out. Some of you are well aware of what that's like. But it keeps you in touch with what's going on currently. Now, I know you've unpacked standards. You've packed the standards. You've poured the common. Shall I go on? My favorite, under by design, what is that? Understand by design, oh yes. Understand by going through, yes. It's kind of full circular. A friend of mine who retired a number of years ago, Ann Sheehy, which many of you know and love, said that to me. It's like a big Monopoly game, Sue. It's just a lot of words. Monopoly, education monopoly. And I can see some heads going, you know what I mean. But from the bottom of my heart, I welcome you into retirement. Hope you'll participate. I will be calling you. You will come to a meeting. You will have our brunch. And I hope join us in some of our activist movements. Right now we are supporting literacy. And Ms. Youngblood can talk about that quite well. Where's she sitting? Where's Mrs. Youngblood? Where are you? We are board members of the YMCA, as Dr. Metzler is well, too, and we have a wonderful literacy program going on up there, and I would like retired educators to be still part of literacy. So I hope you will join with me and be part of that. So welcome, welcome, welcome to the core. Celebrate. Don't set your alarm clock anymore. Please don't do that. Drink a little bit too much wine at a banquet. Expect a lot of applause and know that we love you, we appreciate what you have done, and we will miss you terribly. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. Those were very welcoming words, and I'm going to remember them when it comes my time to retire. I've got a few more years left. But what I want to say is that, as I told my husband this week, I usually give him a little rundown of what my week is going to be. I said, I have 3 nights out. And he's like, oh, really, 3 nights? I said, yes, but this one is the fun one. So I appreciate, being invited. This is the evening for you. And, while, yes, we're out another school night, there won't be many school nights for some of you who are going to be retiring. This is our event where it's very impressive because this is about all of us. So it doesn't matter what positions people have, we celebrate everyone. And that's why we're here tonight. It's about you. So we're going to start. I'm going to introduce Mike Hogan, who is going to come and speak in regards to the 2 retirees, Ann Day and Elizabeth Waller-Berry.
Well, first, I'd like to say that that story, The Velveteen Rabbit, is one of my favorites. I really enjoyed that, and revisiting that is always special. Also, to see Sue Sherman again, in her talking about retirement and so on. So I'm here tonight to announce my retirement, and it sounds really good, actually. This is my 9th year as principal of the middle school, and I've never had the opportunity to go first, so that's really exciting to me. When you dedicate your life to being an educator, it really is special. And the two people tonight have a legacy that they've left at the middle school that will not be forgotten. In speaking with a lot of people over the last few days, they all had such fond memories and thoughts about the two special people. So first, we have Ann Day, and I have the honor of speaking tonight about her, and I'll begin with a quote that personally reminds me of Ann: the teacher, the teammate, the professional, and the friend to so many middle school people. Success in life is founded upon attention to the small things rather than to the large things, to the everyday things nearest to us rather than to the things that are remote and uncommon. Booker T. Washington. Ann Day began teaching 28 years ago, and she's been in 6th grade for all that time. What is it like to teach 6th grade? Well, we have kids coming from 4 different towns, acclimating to the big school, and they have different teachers throughout the day. Kids who run from point A to point B are always hungry, who often believe their first work product is good enough, who are beginning to discover the opposite sex, and the need for deodorant. Such is the challenge of teaching middle school students. Ann grew up in Chicago and attended Mundelein College, I hope I got that right, now a subsidiary of Loyola University. When speaking with several of her current students, they referred to her as kind, funny, cool. She gives out a lot of candy. Hilarious, likes to help people, explains things well, even if you don't get it the first time. Likes to refer to herself as Her Majesty and her students as charming cherubs, and that she loves to share funny stories. And speaking with her colleagues, they describe Ann as a person of her word. Considerate, consistent, collaborative, supportive, giving, and fun. Her teammates consider her to be an exemplary teammate. One who's been a team secretary for many years. Ann is known to a small circle of teachers as having a great sense of humor. You need that to be an effective middle school teacher, and she has been. Like the great majority of our staff, Ann is very involved in service to our school and community. Ann has been our middle school volunteer coordinator for many years. She's a proud commander of the famous duct tape club. I didn't know there were so many colors of duct tape. For many years, Ann has served on the senior T committee very proudly. And I refer to her as the person primarily responsible for the formation of the beautiful cookie platters for our senior citizens in attendance. Ann is also a member of the Seroptimus Club, a women's group that promotes women's rights across the world. The group has sponsored field trips for our girls in the TRMS Girls Group, and it is intended to foster self-esteem and confidence in our girls. Ann's an avid reader, providing suggestions for current young adolescent literature for our school. She's a collector of dishes, apparently filling the cupboards of her home with unique and hard-to-find pieces. Tonight, Ann celebrates her retirement with her husband Steve and daughter Jen, who made the trip from New Jersey just for this event. Ann and Steve recently welcomed a new puppy named Dino into their life, and joining Muffin and their other beloved dog. Ann plans to travel, wants to do some subbing in the district, so it'll be good to see her. She might even make it out to some of your schools, but we'll take her. And with the travel and the subbing, we will have a chance to see her in a different capacity next fall. Ann, we will miss you. and best of luck in retirement. There are some people in the Timberlane community who really are sort of the behind-the-scenes people who you wouldn't know very much about them until you work with them, and then you realize what a gem you have. And we're already worrying about what we're going to do without her next year in the role that she's in, and I'll explain that a little more in detail in a moment. But the other retiree is considered a district employee, but we claim her as our own. She's a middle school person. And you see 3 or 4 tables full of middle school people here to honor both wonderful people. She has spent 12 years in the district, and that is Elizabeth Wollerberry. The following quote helps to frame Elizabeth's perspective on life and her career. The greater danger for most of us lies not in setting our aim too high and falling short, but in setting our aim too low and achieving our mark. Michelangelo. Elizabeth attended Gwynedd Mercy College in Gwynedd Valley, Pennsylvania, then BU, and got her CAGS from Tufts University. Her first career was as a pediatric nurse, then a social worker. In between, she had 4 children, and finally, she became a school psychologist. As I said, she's the proud mother of 4 children and has 1 grandchild. It's kind of nice at my stage now. I have 2 grandchildren, and so all of us are joining this new club, and we get to share all these pictures and stories about meeting our new grandchildren. The job of school psychologist carries with it a great deal of responsibility. Primarily, this role involves thorough testing and subsequent interpretation of the results. The challenge is to help all parties understand how to get the child being reviewed the services they need and deserve. And this is one of Elizabeth's greatest strengths. In speaking with several staff members recently about Elizabeth, they say things such as, "She will go the extra mile. She is so dedicated. She is kind and compassionate. She is a natural leader. Her reports are extremely thorough. She has the ability to remember a child's history over many years and knows and remembers the family. She can paint the big picture. She has an excellent track record with interns. She can explain to parents and teachers in layman's terms what is needed to help a child. She is student-driven and relentless in uncovering the needs of children. She has the ability to understand how an individual student sees the world. She's empathetic to parents, yet firm in her findings. She always makes decisions that are in the best interest of kids. She's a regular fixture on the middle school target team. She has a great sense of humor, and she has great clothes. I had 3 people tell me that I had to improve. What will a school psychologist do in retirement? Well, this goes back to the quote that I read. Well, for starters, Elizabeth plans on hiking all 48 4,000-foot trails in New Hampshire. When that's complete, her ultimate goal is to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. There will be other hikes in between just for warm-up. She also is an avid bicyclist, sailor, and she wants to begin playing tennis again. So as you can imagine, she has set her heights high. When Elizabeth is not outdoors hiking, biking, sailing, she plans on visiting her children who are spread out across the United States and Canada. She also would like to continue to work in a part-time capacity as a school psychologist so she can stay connected to the profession. You have earned your retirement. We will miss you, and we're already worried about what we can do without you. Elizabeth.
Thank you, Mike. And thank you, Anne and Elizabeth. Those are wonderful stories to remember you by. And next we have Michelle Osier, who will not be outdone. And I'm sure will take probably 4 more minutes than Mike did. She is going to be recognizing Shirley Toscano and Paula Hamlet.
I brought my glasses, but I'm not going to use them. I would like to first speak about Paula Hamlet. Paula Hamlet has been a dedicated and dependable employee for the Timberlane School District for the past 30 years. She began her Timberlane career in 1984 at Sandown Central. Paula originally applied for a support position there. Bill Paterni, who at the time was the principal, chose the person for the position by picking a name out of a hat. Did you hear that? I'm gonna have to wear my glasses. It's the light. Paula actually lost that draw, but was called a couple of days later for a position in the resource room located in the portables. She stayed at Sandown Central for 2 years and was then transferred and stayed for the rest of her career at Pollard School. For the next few years, Paula stayed at Pollard but changed positions to the resource room assistant and then again as a one-on-one when mainstreaming became the common practice. Way before it was best practice, Paula was known for her body breaks that she had with her students. She understood how important this was and for students to find success in the classroom. In the midst of all this work, Paula finished some schooling and met the requirements to become a paraeducator too. More changes were in store for Paula as children with autism began to join our Pollard community. For the next 2 years, she had the opportunity to work with a sweet little girl with autism, which was a challenge as no actual program was in place at the school at the time. Following the assignment came the position that Paula is most proud of, Title I reading tutor. During the 10 years in this position, she helped many children with reading until the district began requiring teacher certification. Paula carried a bag of games and tricks that the children loved. She made learning fun. I was also told that Paula had many duties during her time at Pollard, but none as interesting as the porta potty duty. This duty was due to the water problems that Pollard often had. At one time, the bathrooms were not working and porta potties were being used instead. Paula had to pass out wet ones as children left to go to their classrooms. Mrs. Van Stanken never complained about the duties you do. During the past 5 years, Paula has worked as a literacy assistant, a role that was created just for her. Paula has worked with hundreds of students over the past 30 years, and she has helped each and every one of them love reading and learning as much as she does. During her time here at college, she has been a familiar face to many at many school and PTA events, and of course, I have to mention yoga. She taught yoga to staff and to kids many times during our wellness days. Her voice is extremely calm, and at one time, she put the entire 4th grade class in Mrs. Winter's room asleep. Mrs. Winter requested that Paula come and do this every day. In Paula's retirement letter, she explained that she is thankful for the many lifelong school friends she has made over the years who had enriched her world, and I think I can add that they would say that she has enriched their world as well. She is thankful for the opportunity to have worked with a variety of wonderful children and fantastic teachers in our school community. She is thankful for the education she has experienced and the knowledge she has gained by working in a district that celebrates education, putting our children first. Paula looks forward to her next chapter, along with her husband, Mark, daughter, Heidi, who are both with her tonight, as well as her son, Graham, and his wife, Annie. I am sure she will be spending time at the family's flower shop in Portsmouth, Flowers by Leslie. I was told I needed to give a plug. I am also sure she will be traveling now that the school calendar isn't holding her back. Do something crazy, Paula. Maybe travel in the fall or mid-March, something different. Pollard School wishes you the best. Shirley Toscano. Shirley Toscano began working for the Timberlane District in 1994. She went to Franklin Pierce College, earning a degree in marketing and associate's degree in journalism. Before starting at Timberlane, Shirley worked at the Hampstead Montessori School for a few years, as well as 13 years in a private kindergarten in Derry. She started out at the Timberlane District as a speech assistant for 1 year in Danville and then additional 4 years at Pollard. She received her teacher certification by completing an Alt 3 with the state, and then in 1999, she became a classroom teacher at Pollard, where she has been for the past 16 years. During this time, she also received her master's degree at Leslie College. She has mostly been a second grade teacher. For many years, she worked with Mrs. McFarland and Mrs. Como as part of our 1-2-3 family. She was the second grade team member. Shirley has always had a special way of looking at each child as an individual. She brings out the best in everyone, both students and staff. Walking into Shirley's classroom, one would not know that she usually has some of the neediest students in the school. She uses relaxation techniques and sensory movement breaks naturally with her students. She accepts every student as a challenge and believes she never give up. She seems to have an endless bag of tricks. Shirley also spearheaded the Pollard Greenhouse project with the past student and Eagle Scout. I am pretty sure she had no idea that the first conversation she had had with Bryce would balloon into such a huge project. But in the end, Pollard got a greenhouse thanks to Shirley's vision and her love for science. Shirley has been a true member of our Pollard community. She attends many of our evening events, such as math and science nights. She is clearly the queen of lollipop pull during the PTA auction. She has been the master chef of the grill for our second grade picnic since the beginning. She just really enjoys cooking for the children. Shirley is a remarkable teacher. I think I can say with confidence that she broke the mold. She has a great love of reading and science. She has been able to pass on many of this love to her students. Don't get me wrong, it isn't all roses with Shirley. If she has an opinion, she's going to tell you what it is, whether you want to hear it or not. I can remember a few times when I opened my email after a training or a staff meeting to learn exactly how she felt about something that was said or maybe not said. She is not a fan of scripted programs, doesn't like the P word, pacing guides, and often has a hard time keeping to a strict schedule. All of this makes Shirley the teacher she has always tried to be, true to herself and always about her students. Her teammates describe Shirley as headstrong, passionate, and supportive. She is a deep thinker, mostly during sleepless nights, a lover of the arts and sciences, and always respecting the process. Very much a free spirit, absolutely, and doesn't give two thoughts about what other people think. Shirley plans on traveling with her husband Tony, trying her hand at making cheese, and possibly trying out creating sculptures using junk. I cannot make these up. I am also sure she will be spending a lot of time with her son Rick, daughter-in-law Melanie, and her two grandchildren Sydney and Allie. I know you are a Buffett fan, Shirley, and I will end with this. Oh, yesterdays are over my shoulder, so I can't look back for too long. There's just too much to see waiting in front of me. I know that I can't go wrong. We will miss you, and I know you're not going to look back.
It's so nice to hear about things in terms of the folks who work for us and see a different side or a different perspective. And it really does show us just the wealth of staff and in terms of what they can bring to our kids. So Shirley, Paula, wish you all the best. Rounding out the evening, we have Sandown Central Elementary School, and Doug Rolfe unfortunately couldn't be here tonight for a family emergency. And presenting tonight is Sharon Joyce and Kathy Riley.
I was her mentor for many years, so that's why she's standing next to me, and a very good friend of Carol, and worked with Carol for many years, from the very beginning. I was afraid that I'd be so short you wouldn't see my face. And if I took my shoes off, you wouldn't see my face. Carol Mortensen, where does one begin? Using the song lyrics from The Sound of Music. Let's start at the very beginning. Prior to graduating, lucky Carol had done her student teaching in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. In the year 1976, Carol graduated from Plymouth State College with a Bachelor of Science degree in elementary education. She began her teaching career as a first-grade teacher, hard to believe, for 2 years. The first year was in Salisbury, New Hampshire, and her second year, she was in Plymouth, New Hampshire. Belmont. Thank you. That's why she's here to help me. Because I'm old and I can't read either. That's what happens when you've been retired for 4 years. In 1981, after subbing from Timberlane School District the year before, she was hired as a 4th grade teacher for Sandown Central. Her classroom was filled with chairs that were attached to the desks, all in a row, something which the former teacher had been using for many, many, many years. It did not take long for Carol to change that. At that time, the classes were departmentalized, and Carol was assigned to teach 2 classes of English Language Arts to 4th grade and 2 classes of English Language Arts to 5th grade. All teachers taught reading to their homerooms. As true, in the course of education, there came a change due to an increased enrollment. After having been departmentalized for several years, 4th and 5th grade teachers would no longer be departmentalized as one unit. All teachers would now teach language arts. 4th grade teachers would also teach social studies, science, and math. Carol was assigned to science. Now, I remember how nervous Carol was. Certainly she was and still is innovative and creative, but she always had a very neat classroom. And I, who taught science, need I say more? Well, Carol embraced the new challenge, as she always has done, and before long, she was offering week-long summer science camp to students. Throughout Carol's career, she took graduate-level courses to further enhance her teaching. But to Carol, that was not enough. So in 1999, Carol received her master's in elementary education from UNE. Now, when you hear the word cow at Sandown Central, everybody looks to Carol. After going to a Dairy Council workshop, Carol brought a huge blow-up cow into her classroom, and she named it. Well, before long, all the students started bringing her all different shapes and sizes of cows. This tradition, believe it or not, has been over 20 years going. The blow-up cow, well, that's gone. But Carol has a collection of over 500 cows. And she's known to all new incoming fourth graders as the cow teacher. During her 34 years teaching at Sandown Central, and I want you to know that that's longer than the Dave Letterman's run. So there you go. Sure. Carol has served on the Sunshine Committee. She's been a TTA representative, Language Arts Committee, Report Card Committee, here's looking at you, 2000 Committee, and more. Carol was the first elementary teacher to travel to Hawaii as an ambassador for cultural student exchange. Now, to a lot of us, that may seem like it was a great vacation, but it was a whirlwind of a very quick trip. Carol used her experience to incorporate that into a U.S. region of study. This was not the only experience that Carol had where travel and education was combined. She did several landmark history summer institutes, including St. Augustine in Philadelphia. She used her traveling experiences at a number of national parks, Grand Canyon, Yosemite, Yellowstone, just to name a few, to enhance her teaching of the USA. Carol also embraced any technology that was offered to her or any teacher in Timberlane. She worked with John Holland and Dave Chowler using Google SketchUp 3D. She'll explain that later. Okay. With all the highs of Carol's time here at Timberlane, there was also a low point with the tragic death of Whitney Turner. Carol, you handled that with a tremendous amount of strength for the good of the Whitney's parents and for the good of all the students that you had. Each year, on the day of Whitney's birth, Carol has been instrumental in making sure that there is a staff dressed down Friday in honor of Whitney's memory and to raise funds for her scholarship in Whitney's name. Carol, you've instilled in your students a love of reading, a desire to investigate and experiment, a willingness to take risks, a sense of fairness and community. You have touched the lives and hearts of close to 1,000 students and parents, of which all will be always grateful to you. Now it's your time to go bargain hunting and grocery shopping any day of the week and not on weekends. Take early morning walks and smell the fresh aroma of blooming flowers. Stay in bed on a snowy day, not have to answer that no school call at 5:30 in the morning. No offense. Talk to your sister whenever you want to and for as long as you'd like. Spend time with your family and friends, and vacation with Mort, and of course with me. And Carol, as we retired folks say, every day is a Saturday. So on behalf of your family, friends, and colleagues, we wish you nothing but the best as you embark upon the next new exciting chapter in your life.
Okay, oh, it's beautiful, thank you. Thank you.
Well, again, thank you for a great night. I'd also like to acknowledge other valued retirees who could not be here tonight. Janet DeVitz, licensed nursing assistant at Atkinson Academy with 18 years of service. Diane LaRose, guidance counselor at Sandown Central with 20 years of service. I'm going to butcher this name. Paula Graziali. All right, nice Irish one. Special education para-educator at Sandown Central with 24 years of service. Mary Plord, special education paraeducator at Sandown Central with 23 years of service. Christine Smith, an English teacher at our high school for 14 years of service. Again, Janet, Diane, Paula, Mary, and Christine, your service to our district and our children is very much appreciated. We wish them the very, very best in their retirement as well. So again, thank you all this evening. I hope you had a great night. Our retirees, enjoy every minute of it. Please drive safe and have a great evening. Thank you.